I would like to take a moment to talk about the Warrior Within sponsor. An amazing human being, very talented singer-songwriter by the name of Diane Call. Her album is out now, and it is titled Happy Fish and Other Delights. It contains songs about death, rebirth, and transformation. The album pays tribute to the smallest of warriors, a little goldfish with one fin called Happy Fish, who inspired Diane to start writing songs again. Be sure to check out her music page on Facebook, Diane Call Music, www.facebook.com/DianeCall17. You can also subscribe to her YouTube channel and stay up to date on the latest music video releases, including the one for her first single, Cowboy Church. Hello and welcome to the second episode of a 3-part series of The Warrior Within. Today, I'm going to be talking about a home for the holidays, how we can help provide food, coats, Christmas gifts for people in need. And I'm going to be talking about some of the programs that help with that and places that you can volunteer or donate. As always, viewer discretion is advised. And here we go. I'm going to be talking about A Home for the Holidays, which is a Dave Thomas foundation. And you can find it at davethomasfoundation.org. They have a listing of different programs on here. And it was the idea for A Home for the Holidays. It was pitched to CBS by Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption and the Children's Action Network to build awareness of the thousands of children who are waiting to be adopted from foster care. The annual primetime special shares stories of foster care adoption and has featured performances from some of the United States, America's most popular music artists, including Gwen Stefani, Kelly Clarkson, Faith Hill, Jennifer Hudson, Mariah Carey, and many, many more. In between the musical acts, they share stories of amazing families that were brought together through foster care adoption. Thousands of people have been inspired to seek more information on becoming an adoptive parent as a direct result of A Home for the Holidays. So you can find out more by going to davethomasfoundation.org/our program/A Home for the Holidays. You can also call 1-800-525-6789, or you can get info at childrensactionnetwork.org. It's a very important program. There are a lot of children in need, a lot of children who are in the foster care system who spend their holiday season in a kid's shelter. So, volunteer, find out ways that you can help. And if you're interested in adopting one of these children in need, go to the davethomasfoundation.org and find out more. You can also volunteer at a local soup kitchen, willsforwishes.org. Homelessness in the United States, according to data as of the year 2018, U.S. homelessness still has high numbers on a single night. The National Alliance to End Homelessness says 552,830 people experienced homelessness. And of this number, 180,413 were people and families, and 372,417 were individuals. Families often experience homelessness due to financial crisis. It is especially rough this time of year. A lot of things happen around the holidays. People are trying to catch up on bills. People are having to pay medical expenses, and they can't always afford to get Christmas presents for their loved ones. I think that, we need to focus more on the meaning of the season. We need to focus more on helping out our fellow man and woman and child. And we need to focus more on, you know, people's well-being versus material objects. I like homemade gifts. There have been times where my daughter Willow and I would make homemade gifts for friends, family, and it's there's so much joy in creating a gift special for that person, because you have that person in mind, and they can see how much you care about them because of all the time and care that you took creating the gift. I think that is an awesome way to spend time with your kids during the holidays. It's a wonderful way to show somebody that you care about them without having to spend a lot of money on material objects. Approximately 15% of homeless people are homeless for long periods of time. In Georgia, where I live, I'm not going to tell you exactly where I live, but where I live, there is a place that's called a tent city. And what that is homeless people putting up tarps, boxes, anything that they can find to create a makeshift shelter out in the woods. And there is a whole tent city and a whole village of people who are homeless. I seen a very sad sight the other day of a homeless gentleman with his dog. So it's not just people who are affected by homelessness, it's also dogs and cats are affected. Some of these homeless people have service animals. Some of them have pet dogs, and the dogs and cats are affected by it just the same. So find a soup kitchen near you. Soup kitchens are always looking for volunteers, but it's important that you call ahead of time. The holidays especially encourage many groups and individuals to volunteer. Do some homework to see which soup kitchen shelter has the biggest need for volunteers. There are many online resources available for people who wish to help the homeless at any time of the year. Check out homelessshelterdirectory.org to find a list of soup kitchens near you. Feeding America is another great resource for finding local banks in your area. They secure and distribute more than 3 billion meals throughout the U.S. each year. Foodpantries.org is a third resource which allows you to search for soup kitchens. Use this to find nonprofit organizations committed to fighting hunger. Donate to local soup kitchens. Any canned goods, any, pantry items, rice, dry items that you're not going to use, donate to the local pantry. They could always use food, especially carrots, peas, green beans, and beans. Like, canned vegetables are very important. Canned fruit, sliced apples, peaches, pineapples, and mixed fruit, coffee creamer, sugar, sweetener, and tea bags, salad dressings, including mayonnaise. Check out Hampton's Creek Just Mayo, who is working to end world hunger. Personal care products for men and women, including shampoo and soap, napkins, tissues, dish soap, laundry detergent, clothing such as hats, mittens, and scarves. Winter coats are especially important this time of year. If you have a winter coat in your closet that you're not using, donate it. Or if you want to go out and get, a winter coat for a child, just go out and buy a winter coat and donate it. Any clothes that you are not using, any canned goods that are still good that you're not using, please donate. These people are in major need, and it really, really helps out our fellow man, woman, and child. Help your community even more. There are a few simple resources to benefit charities locally. Donate furniture, donate a mattress, donate a car today. They do have like this thing where people donate cars sometimes, and they get the car, checked out, make sure that it is drivable, make sure that it's safe and sound. And they do have a car donation for, people who are in need of getting back on their feet, being able to get a car and drive to their job. Because a lot of times, what's difficult for people who are trying to get on their feet, who are homeless, having to stay at a homeless shelter, is they don't have a permanent residence. So they can't give a permanent address, and every job asks for a place of residency. So it's kind of hard to be able to accomplish. Like I said, it's difficult for homeless people to be able to get a job sometimes because, they don't have a permanent address. They don't have the ability to put down a permanent address, and it just makes it really, really difficult for them to be able to get back on their feet again. And by donating food, donating clothing, donating anything that you can donate, volunteer, it helps these people out a lot. So just, find out ways that you can volunteer, find out ways that you can help. The Angel Tree, I know on the last episode, it was about the Salvation Army, and the Salvation Army does have a program called Angel Tree. You can find information about it at saangeltree.org. And basically, every child deserves to experience the joy of Christmas morning. This is in quotations, and it comes directly from the website. The Salvation Army Angel Tree program helps provide Christmas gifts for hundreds of thousands of children around the country each year. Once a child or a senior adult has been registered and accepted as an angel, their Christmas wish list is shared with donors in your community who purchase gifts of new clothing and toys. The gifts are distributed to the family to place under their family Christmas tree. The Salvation Army collects necessary information to determine qualification for participation in the program and details on each angel. Examples may include, but are not limited to, photo ID, proof of residence, lease, utility bill, or mail received from the school district or other government agencies. Examples of document needed for each child may include, but not limited to, birth certificate, official custody of guardianship, papers, clothing, and shoe size. And a toy wish for each child. No private information for you or your angel is shared with the public. Donors will only be given a first name and Christmas wish list for each angel. While the Salvation Army does operate an Angel Tree program in many cities around the U.S. and Canada, it may or may not operate in your area. So furthermore, not every Salvation Army site that has an Angel Tree program uses this website to collect applications. So that is a really good program, especially around Christmas time. A long time ago, when I was younger, when me and my husband were newlyweds, we were in a program because, I was high-risk pregnancy. I was the only one working in the family at the time because my husband had to leave his job at the time because he had hurt his back, had 3 bulging discs, and it was an awful situation. So I ended up being the only one holding down a job at the time, and I was a high-risk pregnancy, and it was really, really difficult, and I didn't make much money on this job. I didn't get very many hours. So we would always be in the negative with our bills. We would always have a hard time catching up on our bills, but one thing that we were always certain to have was a roof over our head and food in our stomachs and clothing on our back. But getting Christmas presents was really, really difficult for us to be able to do. We did the best that we could. And luckily, we were in a program that helped us get Christmas presents for our kids. There's no shame in asking for help. There's no shame in needing help. Sometimes people, hit a run of bad luck or they hit a difficult patch in their lives. I know that when I was a kid, my dad wasn't making very much money and he was working so hard to put food on our table and so hard to keep a roof over our head, and he was successful at that. I mean, I never went without food. I never went without a warm place to sleep, and I never went without clothing on my back. My mom and dad always made sure that I had that in my life. And, it came to Thanksgiving dinner, and my mom and dad couldn't afford hardly any food. And luckily, a local church donated a turkey and a ham and all the trimmings. And, yeah, it kind of makes you feel bad when people, donate things, but you shouldn't feel bad. It's just them being a good neighbor. It's them helping out their fellow neighbor, fellow man, woman, and child. Very, very grateful that there are organizations out there that do that. There are places that still do that, that treat people with dignity and, help them out when they're down on their luck, to help them get back on their feet again. Goodwill is a good place for that. Goodwill is an amazing place. They give people jobs. They help people out when they're in need. And, that's a wonderful organization. Let me tell you about them here in a moment. They are often, well, they're an American nonprofit organization, and they do provide job training, employment placement services, and other community-based programs for people who have barriers to their employment. And like I said earlier, a lot of times it's difficult for somebody who is homeless and out on the streets to get a job because they don't have a permanent place of residence that they can put down. And you have to have an address. You have to put down an address in order for an employer to hire you a lot of times. And that makes it extremely difficult for somebody who's out on the streets, makes it extremely difficult for someone who doesn't have a place to call home. I have known people who have crashed on their friends' couches, who didn't have a place to call their own. We helped out a couple of our friends one time because they got kicked out of the house that they were living in, and it was in the middle of winter. And we're like, it's nothing fancy, but we do have a back room that has a separate door that you can enter and go out of as you please, and you are more than welcome to stay there until you all can find a place to live and call your own. I've just always been the type of person to volunteer for things. I've always been the type of person to help out my fellow man, woman, and child. Even animals. A lot of times people don't think about animals. They always think about human beings. Animals need help, Animals need donations, so donate to your local animal shelter. Volunteer at your local animal shelter. Those animals would like a home for the holiday as well. And the bad part about that is a lot of times parents will go out and get a brand new puppy during Christmas and a brand new kitten, a brand new bunny, whatever. And they'll go out and get a brand new cute pet during the Christmas season. And then once the child gets bored with this pet, once the new runs off and wears off, the animal ends up in the animal shelter. So instead of getting your child or getting someone that brand new cute puppy or brand new cute kitten or brand new bunny, really think about adopting an older animal. I have. My cat Harlow was not a kitten when I got her. She was over a year old. So think about adopting an older animal. Go to the animal shelter and look at the cute, wonderful, awesome pets that they have there. There are a lot of wonderful pets that are in the animal shelter that get overlooked because the pet stores are shiny and new. Go to the animal shelter, look at those pets. They want a home and they will love you endlessly. Harlow loves us to pieces. We adopted her, we rescued her, and she loves us. So please go to a local shelter. Volunteer. If you can't take an animal home, if you can't adopt an animal, volunteer. They will take volunteers. Just call your local animal shelter and see if you can volunteer. Donate to the animal shelter. They are always constantly in need of cleaning supplies, of soft food for the animals, of hard food for the animals, blankets for the animals, bedding for the animals. Call up your local animal shelter and ask them what they need, and go out, buy it, and donate it, or donate money to the animal shelter. It's not just human beings that need help, especially this time of year. It is also animals. And you need to think also about if you are having to leave your dog outside, because I know that a lot of dogs can't be indoors because they're not made for indoors. And I'm probably going to get some people mad at me for saying this, but if you have to have your dog outside, please, please, please make sure that their building where they're sleeping is very well insulated, that they have enough warm bedding to curl up in and get warm. Make sure that you are checking their water numerous times a day, making sure that they have fresh, unfrozen water to drink, and just make sure that they're safe and warm. Yeah. So it's not just human beings that need help, especially this time of year, it's animals as well. So there are many, many, many ways that you can help create a home for the holidays. You can volunteer at soup kitchens, like I said. You can volunteer at animal shelters. You can donate items. You can be more involved in community organizations. Church programs. There are church programs that help families in need. So just, go to the internet and look up ways that you can help. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode of The Warrior Within. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be a little bit different. My dad's birthday is actually today, and that's what sparked the next episode's topic, which is forest service and forest conservation. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned after that episode for special announcements and special features. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Warrior Within. Love, hugs, and blessings. The special cause of this episode is, of course, donate to Feeding America, which is helping to fight hunger. You can donate at give.feedingamerica.org. They will give you information on how you can donate and how you can help out. Again, give.feedingamerica.org.